Okay. To make sure we're connected to the right stream we're running. That was really weird because I was listening on my phone and I was really intently interested in what the hell this person was saying, and it just cut off. Now, I came on and I checked my Streamlabs and nothing happened on Streamlabs. My connection didn't cut. It's really, really weird. I honestly don't even know if YouTube ended. I mean, Facebook ended. Let me see if it was just YouTube. Let me check real quick. We're going to continue where we left off at. Let me give people a second to join back if they decide to come. Here, it didn't want to start up at.
Plow truck was plowing the plow truck was plowing the driver, not the tow truck. And the tow truck.
So look, on Facebook, it kept running. For some reason, it was only YouTube cut off. I was gone. Oh, my thing is not working out. Oh, perfect. Still going. So weird.
Two individuals exited that vehicle.
You see, Facebook kept going. Only YouTube by itself disconnected, which is so freaking weird. All right. So let me find out where we left off at.
Truck tow lights and the tow truck plowing the driveway. The resident she crossed the view to the Waterfall restaurant, at which point she was asked if she left C.F. McCarthy's with a beverage or a container from that establishment, to which point she stated that she did not. She also confirmed that Mr. O'Keefe did not have any injuries on him when she interacted with him at C.F. McCarthy's or the Waterfall. He did not get into any verbal or physical altercations with anyone to have sustained those injuries. She stated that once at the Waterfall, they stayed for approximately an hour, hanging out with acquaintances. And then they left the Waterfall. She drove them to, after they were invited to a residence, she drove them to a location in Canton, where she dropped Mr. O'Keefe off. She was asked if she saw Mr. O'Keefe walk into the home at 34 Fairview, and she stated she did not. She stated that she made a 3-point turn after dropping him off and left. She was asked whether or not Mr. O'Keefe, excuse me, let me back up. She was asked if she knew, how she found out about the damage to her vehicle, to which she stated, quote, "I don't know, it happened last night," end quote.
Now, at some point earlier in the interview, what, if any, indication did she give as to who Mr. O'Keefe was with when she arrived at C.F. McCarthy's and sort of how long he had been with those respective people?
She indicated that Mr. O'Keefe was with Mr. Camarano, Kurt Roberts, at which point she was asked to provide contact information, meaning phone numbers for those individuals, at which time she picked up the phone on the right armrest of the couch, manipulated the device, entering a passcode, and provided that phone number to Trooper Proctor and I.
And at any point in time in the conversation or interview you had with her, what, if anything, did the defendant say in regard to why she had not gone into the residence at Fairview Road herself?
The defendant stated that she was having stomach issues and did not want to enter the residence.
Now, what, if anything, did she tell you about the later on that morning of the 29th?
She stated that when she woke up, she began looking for Mr. O'Keefe. And when she found him in the snow, she began CPR on Mr. O'Keefe.
And what, if anything, did she say to you about any observations she made of Mr. O'Keefe later on that morning as far as any injuries to Mr. O'Keefe?
The defendant stated that while she was performing CPR, Mr. O'Keefe had sustained injuries and was bleeding from the nose and the mouth.
And if you recall, what, if anything, did she say about Mr. O'Keefe's eyes at that time?
The defendant stated that Mr. O'Keefe's eyes were swollen.
Is that both eyes? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, as the interview progressed, at some point, did you ask questions seeking further details?
Yes, I did.
And details about what specifically were you asking?
Once we got to the point in time where the defendant told me she did a 3-point turn, I asked her to walk through step by step of her operating the vehicle and exactly what she did. Prior to that, I asked her, so she was asked to give a step-by-step recollection of how she, what she did in manipulating the vehicle and leaving the scene.
And at that point, was the interview terminated?
Yes, it was.
Now, once the interview concluded or was terminated, what, if anything, did you do with reference to Ms. Reed's phone and the defendant's vehicle?
Once the interview was terminated, I advised Ms. Reed that her phone was going to be seized as evidence and her vehicle was going to be seized as evidence as well.
And did you subsequently seize both of those items, sir?
Yes, we did.
And similar to the clothing of Mr. O'Keefe, as far as evidence was concerned, was that packaged and taped and transported back to the office in a similar fashion?
The vehicle was transported via tow truck that was dispatched by Dighton PD on our request.
And so when you get back outside of the residence after the conclusion of your interview with the defendant, what, if anything, did you observe going on with regard to the driveway and or any other vehicles that weren't there when you went into the house?
During our interview, I glanced out the window and I saw flashing amber lights and a tow truck plowing the driveway. So the driveway was plowed and the tow truck was, plow truck was plowing the driveway, not the tow truck. And the tow truck was loading the vehicle onto the flatbed.
And at any point in time when you were outside of the residence, what, if any, observations did you make as far as cameras or anything like that on the exterior of the home?
I did not see cameras on the exterior of the home at that point in time.
Subsequent to that date, did you become aware that there were exterior cameras that record on the exterior of the home in Dighton? Subsequently,
yes, we learned that there was video recording of the residence and the driveway.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
I'm showing you a disc. You recognize that, sir?
Yes.
And what do you recognize that to be?
I recognize it to be Dighton videos as it relates to the location where the interview and the vehicle was seized from.
And what's contained on that, as far as the video is concerned, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of what you observed as far as the defendant's vehicle being loaded onto a tow truck?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Can I approach again, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'll look to seek to introduce the minutes of next exhibit.
No objection.
And Your Honor, with the court's permission, if I could publish those 2 short clips for the jury?
Yes.
Just come in if you could. Click on it and pause when it begins. If you could press on the mic.
Mr. Lally, you need to keep your voice up.
Yes. You pause right there, please. Now, the Sergeant Mechanic, from this particular point of the video, do you recognize the vehicle that has just pulled into the driveway?
Yes, I do.
Is that the same driveway that you had walked up from the street to the house in Dayton on that morning?
Yes, it is.
As far as the vehicle is concerned, what do you recognize that vehicle to be?
That would be the Lexus SUV owned by the defendant, bearer Massachusetts registration 3GC684.
I'm going to take the press right from there. This moment, if you could pause right there. Two individuals just exited that vehicle, is that correct, Sergeant?
That's correct.
Do you recognize who those individuals are, as far as who they are, from what part of the vehicle they exited from?
Yes, the passenger side exit was the defendant, and then the driver's side vehicle was Mr. Reed.
That'd be the father, is that correct?
That's correct.
Just don't if you could play this again. Now, Sergeant, towards the end of that video, did you observe the defendant and her father in any specific area in relation to that vehicle?
Yes, I observed the defendant and her father at the rear right taillight, gesturing or signaling towards the affected, damaged, and missing parts of the taillight.
Objection.
I'll allow just the direction that they were signaling out.
Move to strike the remainder.
Okay?
As far as that vehicle's position within the driveway, is that essentially the position that you observed it in when you and Trooper Proctor and Officer Barrows were walking up the driveway to the home?
Yes, it was.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could have a second of those two videos. If you could pause it there, please. Again, Sergeant Mechanic, if you could describe to the jury what you observed of significance within this particular video.
This video captures the vehicle being moved into position to be loaded up onto the flatbed for transport from the scene.
Gentlemen, if you could play for me.
The car.
Pause right there. I'm sorry. I just asked her to pause right there.
Yeah, you really have to keep your voice up.
Yes. Sergeant Mechanic, from this still image from this video, what, if anything, of significance do you observe in relation to the vehicle at this time that is being loaded onto the tow truck?
The rear taillight is illuminated. You could see a white light coming from that taillight.
If you could, using that laser pointer you have before you, just direct the jury's attention to the specific area you're talking about.
Right there.
Okay. Ms. Gilman, if you could play this through the... Ms. Gilman, you can take that time. Now, Sergeant Mechanic, as far as when you left the residence in Dayton, where is it that you went?
Can we turn the lights on, Mr. Lally?
Yes, my apologies.
Once we left the residence in Dayton, we proceeded following the tow truck back to the Canton Police Department.
And was there anywhere else that either you or the tow truck went between Dayton and the Canton Police Department?
No, sir.
And when you say we, it's yourself and Trooper Proctor, is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, once you arrived at the Canton Police Department, where did the vehicle go?
The vehicle was unloaded and put into a heated sally port located at the Canton Police Department.
And in reference to the Canton Police Department and putting it in the sally port, why was it that it was taken to that location?
It's a location that serves as a storage for a vehicle that would suffice for the size of the vehicle. The location is, as it related to the crime that took place was investigated, was in that town. So we utilized their facility. It was also a heated facility to help melt the snow that had been accumulating on the vehicle.
And at some point, well, as far as some point subsequent to this, did you learn that there are exterior cameras of the Canton Police Department as well as cameras within the Sallyport garage area?
Yes, I did.
And have you reviewed each of those respective cameras prior to your testimony here today?
Yes, I have.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
So I'm showing you a disc, just have to look at that, look up on the finish. You recognize that, sir?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize that to be?
The Canton Police Department driveway video.
And what's contained on that is that fair and accurate portrayal of yourself and the tow truck pulling into the Canton Police Department driveway on that afternoon or early evening of January 29th.
Yes, it is.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Almost seek to introduce the minutes of that exhibit.
They have just a moment, Councilman.
Okay.
Mike.
Team huddle.
Thank you for that, Your Honor. No objection.
Okay.
And Your Honor, with the court's permission, we publish that video to your aid.
Okay.
And just for reference points, in regard to this view of this camera, Sergeant, you're familiar with Canton Police Station?
Yes, I am.
And so where is this camera view in relation to the Canton Police Department and the Sallyport garage where the vehicle eventually goes?
This camera is capturing the driveway entrance to the Canton Police Department. As viewed from Washington Street, that driveway there is on the left side of the structure. The camera itself is pointing towards the entrance of the driveway to the Canton Police Department. As you can see, the brake light illuminated in the shot. That is a Canton Police cruiser sitting at the edge of the driveway right by Washington Street.
So for orientation purposes, as far as the tow truck and your vehicle, is that coming from the top of the screen to the bottom or the bottom to the top? It's
coming from the top left to the bottom right of the screen towards the rear of the building where the Sallyport is located.
Thank you. Just come in if you could. Pause there, Ms. Gilman. As far as what's depicted in this still shot of this video, Sergeant, what if anything do you observe?
That is the tow truck transporting the defendant's vehicle, arriving at Canton PD. My vehicle with Trooper Proctor inside, me operating, are following closely behind as we did the entire way from Dighton all the way to Canton.
Ms. Gilman, if you could play that to the end. Thank you. Now, as far as the interior of the Sallyport garage,
Put the lights, thank you.
as far as the interior Sallyport of the garage, you mentioned that that is a heated area, is that correct?
That's correct.
And as far as the heat within that, do you know how that is produced or how hot it gets in there as far as the time that you spent within there?
I do not know, but it was a standard garage heating system that blows hot air. As far as temperature, when the doors were open, that day it was freezing cold. It was, I believe, like 18 degrees with, winds blowing. So inside the garage inside the Sallyport with the doors open, it was quite cold. Once the doors shut, the temperature rose above freezing and the snow began to melt off of the vehicle.
And from the arrival of that vehicle into the Sallyport garage area, are you aware or have you reviewed video in reference to that?
Yes, I did.
And Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Look at the rear tail light. And that, there was
Can
no
you
rear
remember
light.
this, sir? Just ask you to review that.
I see nothing in there. That's the front of the vehicle. Are you talking about a different picture?
And do you recognize that, sir?
Yes, I do.
And does that contain the video that you were just testifying about as far as the arrival of the vehicle at the Ken Police Department Sallyport garage?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
How about proceed to introduce in the minutes of the next exhibit?
No objection, Your Honor.
Now, Sergeant, before we get to that video, if I could just ask, if you know, approximately what time was it that you left Dighton following that tow truck back to the Canton Police Department?
We left Dighton approximately 4:15, 4:20, and we followed the vehicle back to Canton, arriving probably around 5:30 or so p.m.
Thank you, sir. And Your Honor, with the court's permission, if we could publish that video for the jury.
Okay.
I try to catch it up. Okay, here we go. In the garage or somewhere. There we go.
Ms. Gilman, if you could just pause there for a moment. Sergeant, direct your attention up to the video on the screen just for orientation purposes again. First of all, do you recognize what's depicted in this video?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize it to be?
That is the Sallyport two-bay garage at Canton Police Department with the antique Ken Cruiser on the bottom of the screen and the open spot for a vehicle in the middle of the screen with the four-wheel drive all-terrain vehicle at the top.
Now, as far as, again, for orientation purposes, the driveway that the jury just witnessed in the prior exhibit, is that to the left of the screen, the right of the screen, or something else?
The driveway is to the right of the screen.
And this vehicle, the defendant's vehicle, is sort of taken into the garage from the opposite side or from the left of the screen, is that correct?
Correct.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could, wait.
Yeah, man. Let's see. It's coming
May we
in.
approach briefly?
Okay. Could you pause that, Ms. Gilman?
Pause. I skip ahead a little bit. Well, hold on. Is this where, because I saw a reporter tweet that Karen had a big reaction to something. Karen Reed had a major reaction to something Booknick said, engaging animatedly with her family during G's sidebar. She's now reacting to this video, as is the defense team. Okay. Uh-oh. What's wrong, Karen? Let's see how she reacts.
But I think the better use of our time is to give you a 10-minute break now.
Let's have a 10-minute break.
And then we'll go straight through till 4 o'clock. But if anybody needs a break,
She looked a little agitated.
All rise for the court, please.
Man, look at that face.
Follow me, please.
What happened?
Jim.
All right, let's just fast forward a little bit. Oh, she's smiling there, though, or whatever. What is that? Can you believe that? It's bullshit. Fucking crazy. She looked right at the camera, too.
Your Honor, may the witness leave the stand just for a moment?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see you back here in about 10 minutes, Sergeant.
Okay.
If you please the court, yes.
So I gotta watch the video again. All right, let's check it out. Let's check it out. She mouthed, and it's the wrong direction. Wrong. I said it wrong day. Wrong side.
May I get just a little closer?
Sure. Can we turn out the lights, please, Dave? Thank you.
You just said the tail light looks fine to me. I think this is a video that the Commonwealth did not give the defense team. That'd be interesting if they didn't. I mean, you can't tell anything from the tail light from this angle. Let's see, let's see. You said road was on the right, comes left side. Keep in mind the video's inverted. Video's flipped. Yeah, it's the passenger side, right? A lot of snow. A little choppy there. Look like it got cut. It got cut. Jump cut. Again. What are they doing back there? Huh? What's going on? Something's going on back there. It's a little fishy. They could have done anything back there all that time. Was the camera rolling 24 hours? Or was it turned off? So they put up a crime scene thing for the car, but they don't put one for the crime scene itself? Thank God I don't have to watch the full video. The defense was told that some of the Sally Port footage can't be handed over a certain time duration due to power problem or something like that. Uh-oh. Oh no. AV.
Is that the end of it, Mr. Lally, or?
Come on, Lally.
I believe so,
Let's
yes.
do this.
Is that the end of it, Ms. Gilman? Okay. All right. Lights on, please, Dave. Thank you. All right. So I have a copy of the printed docket on 424. Paper number 347 was the Commonwealth's Notice of Discovery XL. I just asked Mr. McDermott to print it for me. Our printer up here doesn't work. All right, so that was before we impaneled. That was the day, I believe, of the long motion in limine trial.
Auntie Bev.
All right, so we'll take a 5-minute break, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Might as well just end it for the day. Well, at least we can skip ahead and catch up. Sorry about earlier, guys. I don't know what happened. It was really weird because it was only YouTube that disconnected. Facebook kept running. Somebody tried to disconnect me remotely. Somebody's in on it. All aboard! Just like that. We're caught up. All right. Let me see if I can find a picture of Bev. Maybe we can do an emoji. Auntie Bev. What's her name? Bev something? Somebody on Twitter, his name Auntie Bev Sidebar and Grill. Oh shit. What's her real name? Beverly something?
I gotta say, we gotta give them something.
You gotta wait till they come back.
Thank you. Be seated. Close back.
All right, so we're ready to pick right up where we left off?
We're ready. Thank you, Your Honor.
So I'll just be clear, the objection's overruled, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you.
Ready for a video feed. I have no video feed.
Sergeant, we're going to start up again with the video.
Your Honor.
Your Honor, for the record, I believe we're picking up where it was paused, which was 5:35:36.
Okay?
Where's the video? Might have to find a different channel then. Let's see. Boston. All right, let me do Boston. Ooh, the audio's kind of crazy. Boston.
If you could pause right there. And Sergeant, as far as the condition of the vehicle as you observe it in this sort of pause still shot of the video, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of the condition as far as the snow or ice or anything you observe on that vehicle when it came into the Sally Port garage?
Yes, it is.
Ms. Gilman, if you could play from there. No, if you could just pause there for a moment. That's Sergeant's almost falling in the video.
All right, so keep your voice up.
Oh, shit.
Sergeant Mechanic, with reference to any individuals you see in this video, do you recognize any of those individuals?
I can recognize Trooper Proctor myself.
Oh, there you go.
Other than that, I don't remember exactly who else was present at this moment in time.
If you could start using the laser pointer before you just direct your attention to where you observe yourself and where you observe Trooper Proctor.
That's Trooper Proctor and myself there.
One time when you were present with this vehicle in the Sally Port garage this evening of January 29, 2022, did either yourself or did you observe Proctor touch or manipulate in any way the right rear passenger side area of that vehicle?
No, we did not.
Ms. Gilman, you can play from here.
have no notifications either, so we lost a lot of people. Or we lost the connection. But we're here. We're here. And
I want to take a pause there just a moment. Dr. Mechanic, from what you're observing in this video, what you've seen or what you recall from this, what is it that you and Proctor and some of the other officers are doing now?
We're establishing a perimeter around the vehicle with yellow tape in order to prevent or alert and advise anyone in the area to stay away from the vehicle.
I want to get this played to the end, please.
thank you, music. What y'all think about this? All right, so they set a perimeter around the vehicle. I wonder why they decided to cover the vehicle, but they didn't cover the crime scene area, like secure the crime scene outside of the house.
Thank you. You can take that down, Mr. Officer. We can have the lights back on. Now, Sergeant Mechanic, are you aware of a warrant that was executed on that vehicle on February 1st of 2022?
I am aware.
And you yourself were not present for that, is that correct?
I was not present for the execution, no, sir.
Trooper Proctor was, as far as you're aware, is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, the next time that you were within the Canton Police Department Sallyport garage with the vehicle was on February 2nd, is that correct?
That's correct.
And on that day, where did the vehicle go from the police station?
From the Canton Police Station, I escorted the vehicle to the Milton Barracks for safekeeping.
And why was it taken from the Canton Police Station on February 2nd to the Milton Police Barracks? Or what had occurred in the intervening part between January 29th and February 2nd?
The Canton Police Department had recused themselves from interviews and in that portion of the investigation. And now that the vehicle had been processed, we needed to free up the Canton Sallyport so they can utilize that facility for transporting prisoners to their facility and booking. So we stored the now processed vehicle back at the Milton Barracks in a unheated garage.
And, Your Honor, if, with the court's permission, if I could publish just a very brief portion of what's been marked as Exhibit 34.
Okay.
Which is the Canton Police Department Sallyport's garage camera.
Okay.
And that is going, what you have up there, I'm sorry, February 2nd, 2022, approximately 8:09 a.m. And I'm just going to ask you to play that through till about 8:10:26. Sergeant, just for orientation purposes, again, this is another camera from within the same Sallyport garage, is that correct?
That's correct. That's the opposite view from what we just viewed in the previous video.
And as far as any of the people within this video, do you recognize any of the individuals in there?
I believe that's myself and then another officer. I don't know who that other officer is.
What the
And
hell is
just
this?
again, using the laser pointer, if you could, direct your attention to where you see yourself. And as far as the condition of the vehicle from January 29th, when you saw it on that day, to February 2nd, when you saw it on that day, as far as the exterior of the vehicle, what if anything was different, or what if anything you noted or observed?
I noted the taillight removed and the evidence collected.
And as far as the snow and the caked on ice that you observed on that prior day, was that still present on February 2nd?
No, that had melted away.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could again, I'm sorry, just wait through to 8/10/26.
What the hell am I supposed to be seeing here? What? Is that for real? See a lot of crime. Is that really what it looks like? Wow.
To Mr. O'Keefe's house. Thank you, Ms. Gilman.
Yeah, that's what they're
Take
looking
that
at.
down.
Look.
And Mr. Officer, we can have the lights back on. Thank you. Now, Sergeant Buchanan, with regard to Mr. O'Keefe's house at One Meadows Avenue in Kidd, at some point did you become aware throughout the course of your investigation that there were exterior cameras affixed to that residence as well?
Yes, I did.
And those were Ring cameras, is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, with respect to investigation, what, if any, steps were taken in order to secure any of that footage from the exterior of the house from the ring?
Objection.
No, I'll allow it.
We applied for multiple search warrants.
Objection.
All right,
I
I'll
don't
see
want
you at
that.
sidebar on this.
Why can't we hear that? Whoa, it's just glitchy as hell. And the Matrix. We're here, and we're... Here and...
Muted.
Uh-oh.
And so, sir, during the course, well, let me ask you this. As far as this or any other investigation is concerned, how is it that members of your unit sort of work through an investigation or work on a case?
We,
Objection, Your Honor.
No, I'm going to allow that.
as a case
All right,
comes
what about that
in,
then?
we address each case on individual basis based on the evidence that is presented through testimony and physical evidence that is recovered. That is what guides our investigations, and we then develop leads and process information collected. Sometimes information needs to be collected from third-party holders of data or service providers, at which point to access that data, we apply for search warrants, which are guided.
Objection.
Okay, so leave it, move on from that.
Thank you.
So you apply for search warrants. We'll move on from that.
So, Sergeant, my question is more geared toward as far as individual personnel within your unit. How is is an investigation conducted as far as one trooper does everything, or is it a collaborative effort, or how is that?
The reason I say we is because every investigation takes the entire unit typically to
The whole unit's
put an
involved.
effort in to
shit.
conduct interviews, analysis, and so forth. So it's a team effort each and every time. No investigation is a one-man show. That's why we call it a case officer, not a lead investigator, because the case officer organizes the individuals to assign different tasks and collect and organize the data that comes back from the third-party providers and from the interviews that are conducted.
As far as the interviews that are conducted through the course of this or any other investigation, is there ever an interview that's conducted just by one trooper or one person in any investigation that you've done with this unit?
It is, no. We conduct interviews with two people, whether it's a trooper and a local detective, or two troopers assigned to our office, other state police agent unit within the agency.
Now, as far as the case officer, who was a case officer on this particular investigation?
The case officer in this investigation was Trooper Michael Proctor.
And Trooper Proctor works under your supervision, is that correct?
That's correct.
So as far as a search warrant for the ring video from One Meadows Avenue, who specifically sat down, put pen to paper, and wrote the search?
Trooper Proctor was the affiant.
And as far as from that search warrant, are you aware of the materials that were provided by Ring in response to that search warrant?
Objection.
I'm going to allow it.
I am aware of it.
And have you reviewed both the material as well as the videos that were provided by Ring in response to that search warrant?
I did.
Now, with reference to those videos, specifically, did you observe a?
I don't believe the whole department's
With
internet.
respect to those videos,
I don't believe it.
how were they sort of ordered sequentially? When in the manner in which they were provided, as far as date,
Yes, I
time,
think
things
so.
of that nature?
Objection.
Ask it differently. Ask it differently, Mr. Lally.
So the videos that you received from Ring that you reviewed, correct?
Yes, I did.
Objection, Your Honor.
No, I'll allow that. So he's reviewed videos from Ring. Next question.
What, if any, information did they contain as far as date or time?
The data provided back from Ring provided videos. There was no date and time on the labeling of the identifier, unique identifier for each video, but it was presented in a sequential order, knowing that the last video presented from the provider was the last video within the scope of our request, and the first one being the first in that timeline.
In the scope of your request, the scope of the request of the warrant, what time frame are we talking?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
The first warrant we requested from January 24th at midnight through January 30th at midnight.
And with respect to those videos that were provided, you reviewed each of those, is that correct?
That's correct.
And Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would ask to publish certain of those videos for the.
So are these, why don't we come to sidebar?
Sidebar. Oh. So we're not going to get crossed until tomorrow, I guess.
You are unmuted.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could have from what's been previously
After
marked as
tomorrow.
Exhibit 6, first video 119. If you could pause there, Ms. Gilman. Now, with reference to this particular video, number 119 in Exhibit 6, Sergeant, what, if anything, can you tell the jury as far as the timing of this particular video?
Based on the appearance of the driveway, we know that this recording took place prior to the blizzard of January 29th.
And as far as anything that you observe in this video, as far as vehicles or people within those vehicles, what, if anything, did you observe within this video?
I observed Mr. O'Keefe's car parked in the same location as he typically parked it, and then
Objection.
I'll strike the as he typically parks.
and then a black SUV parked perpendicularly to Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle, adjacent to the entryway to the garage.
Ms. Gilman, if you could press play on there.
Okay.
Ms. Gilman, if you could pause. At some point in the course of your viewing of this video, the video surrounding it, will you be able to identify the operator of the vehicle, the black SUV?
Yes, that is the defendant operating her black and color Lexus SUV bearing Massachusetts plate 3 GC 684.
And if Ms. Gilman, if you could play it.
She didn't hit his car that time. She was very accurate the way she drove out at first. But you could argue with a snowstorm and she was drinking or something. She'll worry about John. So the taillights look intact. At that time, this was before. It's too bad. Now clearer video.
Now, Sergeant Mechanic, are you also aware from your review of the ring videos from One Meadows Ave, another video depicting the defendant leaving the house sometime shortly after 5 a.m. on January 29th?
Yes, I am.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could also from Exhibit 6 ask for, video 153. If you can just pause there for a moment.
Here we go. Here we go.
Now, Sergeant, with reference to this video and the one just previously from 119, where is
119?
Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle parked in
That's
relation
the
to this
typically
video
parked.
vis-a-vis the other video?
The vehicle's parked in the back corner of the driveway along the fence in the same location as it's parked in the previous video.
And at some point, you see the defendant's vehicle back out of the garage in the same direction out that it did in the prior video 119.
Yes, you do.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could address it. Pause there for a second. Now, as far as the operator of that vehicle, are you able to
scared it, baby.
observe who that operator is within that vehicle?
I observed the vehicle being operated. I cannot identify who the individual is, and then from that shot right there.
From at any point in the shot or the video that you observed, are we able to recognize the operator of the vehicle?
Not from that shot, no.
Now, with respect to the timing of this video, what time in the morning is this video?
The timing of this video is approximately 5:07 a.m. when the defendant left the home through the garage via her vehicle.
And this gentleman, if you could play through the video. Now, from this particular pause portion of the video, Sergeant, what, if anything, of significance do you observe within the still shot of this portion of the video 153?
The portion of this video in the still shot presented identifies a missing, damaged rear right taillight, exposing the white light coming from the right side of that taillight.
And if you could, using the laser pointer before you draw the jury's attention to what you're talking about as far as that area of the defendant's vehicle. Now, earlier in that video, did you observe the defendant's vehicle coming close to or coming into contact with Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle?
Yes, I did.
And as far as Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle, at least from this video, what, if any, damage did you observe to Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle?
No damage.
And as far as the ground area around where Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle is parked, specifically the rear of that vehicle, what, if any, red pieces or anything do you observe on the ground around Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle?
Nothing was observed.
It's coming if you could press. And Ms. Gilman, from Exhibit 6, if I could have video number 165.
Look at the tire tracks in the snow. She said intentionally, in my opinion.
And Sergeant, have you reviewed this video as well?
Yes, I
I
have.
think she did it too intentionally.
And when time-wise, in relation to January 29th, approximately, is this video?
It's approximately like 12:30 in the afternoon.
And as far as the vehicles in the foreground area from this particular camera shot, you know whose vehicles those are?
Yes, the vehicle in the top left corner is Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle. Vehicle in the middle left is the defendant's vehicle. And I do not know who the other two vehicles are.
Ms. Gilman, if you could press play.
That's Papa.
Pause there just for a moment. And Sergeant, from the two individuals exiting
Oh,
from
no
that
way,
vehicle,
Hoax.
do you recognize who those individuals
No way.
are?
Yes, I do.
And if you could, just using the laser pointer, direct the jury's attention to whom you recognize and identify who that person is.
That there is the defendant, and that there is Mr. Reed.
Again, Mr. the defendant's father, is that correct?
That's correct.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could press play.
Glare. Oh, somebody's out the door.
Thank you. Ms. Gilman, if you could pull up video 166 from this same Exhibit 6. Gilman, if you can pause there just for a moment. Sergeant, you recognize the person that just exited from that vehicle and behind the defendant's vehicle?
Yes, I do.
Who do you recognize that to be?
As a defendant's brother.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could press play. Thank you, Ms. Gilman. If I could have from the same Exhibit 6, video 171.
I couldn't live out in the cold like that, man. That's too much.
Ms. Gilman, you can take that down. And Mr. Officer, we can have the lights back on. Sergeant, from your review of those videos, at various points you observed the defendant's brother cleaning off the defendant's car, correct?
That's correct.
At any point in time, did you observe the defendant's brother cleaning off the area of the right rear passenger side's taillight of the defendant's car?
I did not.
Now, Sergeant, turning your attention to February 1st of 2022, yourself and Trooper Connor Keith, is that someone you're familiar with?
I am.
And he works within your unit as well?
Yes, he does.
And at some point, did you and Trooper Keith on that day go to the C.F. McCarthy's establishment?
Yes, we did.
And what was the purpose of your visit to C.F. McCarthy's on that day?
The purpose of our visit was to retrieve surveillance video during the target time in question that we knew the victim and the defendant had visited the establishment. Also, any transaction receipts that we could collect from that location.
And were you able to retrieve both video as well as transaction receipts from that establishment?
We were.
And I'm sorry, my apologies. Before I get into that, may I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
And Sergeant, I'm showing you a series of 14 photographs, still shots. If you could just look at those and look up when you finish. And do you recognize those, sir?
I do.
And what do you recognize those to be?
I recognize these to be still photographs of the ring video that we just watched.
And that would be video 153, the one with the defendant backing out sometime after 5 a.m. on January 29th.
That's correct.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Call Mulder seek to introduce and admit as the next exhibit.
Okay,
No objection.
thank you.
It's time for the end of the day.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, never mind.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Your Honor, with the court's permission, may I publish just a couple of these photographs?
Okay.
Ms. Gilman, if I could have photograph number 30. And Sergeant, you recognize what's up on the screen now, exhibit 456.
I do.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could just move towards the rear of the vehicle. Have a moment, George.
Yes.
That
And
looks.
Sergeant, what's up on the screen now? If you could direct the jury's attention with that laser pointed to the area of the rear passenger side taillight that you were describing damaging.
Damage.
Thank you, sir.
What y'all say? What y'all think? That shit looking tight. He says, "Damn it."
Okay. Ms. Gilman, you can take that too. Thank you, sir. Mr. Officer, you can have the light back up. Thank you, sir.
What do y'all think? What y'all think, man? That shit look damaged. Or
So, Sergeant Buchanan, if I could take
guess-
you again,
I
I'm
guess it
sorry,
does.
back on February 1st to see if
just cracked then.
You secured video and receipts from that establishment on that day.
That's correct.
And as far as the video and receipts, were you then able to subsequently review those at some point?
Yes, I was.
Now, first, starting with respect to the video, Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Uh-oh. So y'all
So
said she
showing you
hit.
two photographs of still shots. Just ask you to look at those. Look up when you're finished. And do you recognize those, sir?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize those to be?
Those are still shots of the CF McCarthy's surveillance video that we collected from that establishment, from the dining room camera angle.
May I approach again, Your Honor?
Yes,
I'm about to seek to introduce in a minute as the next.
No objection.
thank you.
461, 460.
Thank you.
Not looking good. It's not looking good for the defense, right? Looks completely cracked, not 37 pieces.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, if I could ask those to be published to the jury at this point.
Okay.
And Sergeant McKenna, you recognize what's up on the screen?
Yes, I do.
And if you could, using the laser pointer, draw the jury's attention to what, if anything, of significance you observed in this still shot from the CF department.
We observe the victim, Mr. John O'Keefe, here. Appears to be communicating with the defendant here. Mr. Camerano is over here as well. Mr. Sullivan is down here as well. Mr. O'Keefe is wearing the gray, light, two-tone sweatshirt that I held up earlier, as well as the jeans.
And the next still shot, Ms. Gillespie. And similar to this, similar to the previous one, excuse me, Sergeant, do you recognize what's depicted in this still shot here?
Yes, it's, again, the victim on the other side of the defendant, still dressed in the same outfit, and the defendant standing in front of him.
And as far as the bar area adjacent to the defendant, what, if anything, of significance do you know there?
The bar area is located near the taps, the draft beer taps at CF McCarthy's. So if you were to look at the bar from the street, that is the left side of the bar orientation on the way to the restrooms.
And I'm sorry, I should have been more specific. As far as the sort of shelf of the bar immediately adjacent to the defendant's left arm, what, if anything, do you observe in that?
Here, I observe a cylindrical vase-style cocktail glass on the bar, as well as other beer bottles.
Mr. Gilman, you can take that down. With reference to the CF McCarthy's video, Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would ask to publish certain portions of that. It's already been marked as Exhibit 50.
Okay.
Ms. Gilman, if you could, from the first video.
Oh, stretch. Almost there.
If I could ask you to pull it up to about 7 minutes and 50 seconds. And Ms. Gilman, if you could pause just for a moment, I'm just going to ask you to play from 7:50 to about 8 minutes and 20 seconds in, but I may have to pause it. Gilman, if you could pause there. Sergeant, as far as just, again, for orientation purposes, with reference to the entrance or exit, point of ingress, egress, bar, do you observe that somewhere within this video?
Yes, at the top of the screen is the front door to CF McCarthy's bar. And as we just viewed, the two gentlemen walking in, they walked in through the front door, heading to the taps area, draft beer location of the bar.
And if you could, just using the laser pointer, direct your attention to that front door area that you're talking about.
The front door area is located right here.
If
And
there's
with
video
respect to those
depicting an
two individuals
argument,
that came in, do you
please turn.
recognize those two individuals?
Yes,
Thank you,
that
Herbs.
is the victim, Mr. John O'Keefe, dressed in the same outfit as before, and Mr. Camerano.
You could play that to allow you to point. Ms. Gilman, if I could ask you from the same exhibits, same exhibit 50, from the third video now. If I could ask you to go to about 6 minutes and 10 seconds in. And I'm going to ask you to play that till about 6 minutes and 43 seconds. If I could ask you to pause just there. As far as the individuals around Mr. O'Keefe and Mr. Camerano, do you observe or recognize anybody else in the bar area around them at this time?
Mr. O'Keefe is sitting next to Mr. Camerano. I believe Mr. Kurt Roberts is there as well, next to Mr. Camerano.
Now, from this time, we're at about 8:51 p.m. or so within the video. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, as far as
thank you for the stars.
timestamp on this video, what, if any, information were you provided
Facebook.
when you retrieved this video on February 1st in relation to that time and its accuracy to sort of what time was?
During video surveillance extraction, we verified the time and date on the system, and that is to show us how far behind in the past or in the future. Sometimes devices are timestamped that's in the future. It hasn't happened yet in real time, but the video is stamped so. So what we do is prior to extracting video, we identify the difference in time between real time and video time. In this case, CF McCarthy's video was 12 minutes behind real time.
And thank you. And Ms. Gilman, if you could play this to about 6 minutes and 40 minutes.
Oh, okay. Hey, babe. Hi, sweetie.
You can just pause there briefly.
Where's my seat?
As far as anyone else within the area of the bar, there in Roberts, who anyone else you recognize in that area at this?
I recognize the defendant walking in and interacting with the victim, Mr. John O'Keefe.
Ms. Gilman, if you could, within that same video 3, I would ask you to go to about 13 minutes and 15 seconds. And I'm going to ask you to play from here to about 14 minutes and 45 seconds. Pause there. Now, from your review of this video, what, if anything, of significance do you observe in this part of the video?
This part of the video, I observed the defendant reaching over and retrieving a cylindrical, tall cocktail glass from the bartender.
And again, given the understanding that the video is about 12 minutes off as far as the timestamp, the defendant entered about 8:51 p.m. and is receiving this drink about 8:58 p.m. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And if you could, please come and play that to. Again, given the understanding that.
Defendant reaching over and
Pause there. Now, from your review of this video, what, if anything, of significance do you observe in this part of the video?
This part of the video, I observed the defendant reaching over and retrieving a cylindrical, tall cocktail glass from the bartender.
And again, given the understanding that the video is about 12 minutes off as far as the timestamp, the defendant entered about 8:51 p.m. and is receiving this drink about 8:58 p.m. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And if you could, Ms. Newman, play that.
Oh,
to-
she lied. Okay, I see you, girl. Uh-huh. Let's see. What up? Oh, okay. Let's see what happens. Sip.
Now, Ms. Gilman, if you could go up to about 32 minutes even in to the same video. Now I'm going to ask you to play that for the next 30 seconds or so to about 32 minutes and 30 seconds.
Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. I should put it down. Still got shit sipping on 2 drinks, baby. I don't know. All right.
And Sergeant, during that about 30 seconds or so, what, if anything, of significance did you observe the defendant to receive at that point?
A cylindrical cocktail glass.
And so that would be the second drink, is that correct?
That's correct.
And that's at approximately 9:15, is that correct?
That's correct.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could go forward to about 37 minutes into this same video.
Where are we at? 2?
If you could play that for about the next minute or so, for about 38. Now, Sergeant, again, from that about 1 minute portion from that video, what, if anything, of significance did you observe the defendant receive and do with any items?
She received the shot glass beverage and poured it into the tall cylindrical cocktail glass, and then Mr. John O'Keefe stirred it for her.
And so that would now be the third drink, is that correct?
Okay, we have 3, baby.
That's correct.
Let's go.
That's about 9:20 p.m., is that correct?
That's correct.
Ms. Gilman, if I could direct you to the fourth video, video number 4. And ask you to go about 50 seconds into into this video. And I'm going to ask you to play this, Ms. Gilman, from 50 seconds to about 1:30.
Oh, out of counter here. Oh.
Thank you, Ms. Gilman. So Sergeant, from this particular video, what, if anything, of significance do you observe the defendant receiving during this time frame?
She receives another shot glass beverage and then places that liquid into her tall cocktail glass and stacks the second shot glass into the first shot glass into the first tall cylindrical cocktail glass she had previously received and consumed.
So this would now be the fourth drink, is that correct?
That is correct.
And per the video, that's about 9:33 p.m., is that correct?
That is correct.
And Ms. Gilman, within this same video, if I could ask you to go to about 26 minutes and 30 seconds.
Next time I gotta find out how to add a counter to this thing so we can
Ms.
count.
Gilman, if you could pause there for just a moment. I'm gonna
The
ask you
point
to
of this
play
isn't that she
until about
drank.
27.
Maybe it is. But the other point is just that she lied about how many drinks she had. Let's see. Everybody was drinking that night. Baby was drinking that night. Oh. Arms, thank you for the 5. Valley's Revenge.
Thank you, Ms. Gilman. During that period, Sergeant, what, if anything, of significance did you observe the defendant to receive during that time frame?
She received a tall cylindrical cocktail glass.
And in addition to that, what, if anything else, did she receive from the bartender
Pathological
during that
liar
time?
characteristics
A
proven.
shot glass size beverage.
And what, if anything, did she do with the shot glass in regard to the larger cylindrical glass?
It was placed inside the tall cylindrical cocktail glass.
So that would be drinks 5 and 6, is that correct?
That's correct.
And per the timestamp on the bar video, this is now about 9:57 p.m., is that correct?
Correct.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could direct you to video number 5.
How many drinks she said she had? Let's.
And if I could ask you to go to about 3 minutes in. And ask you to play that till about 3:30 or so.
Is it 6 drinks, 3 shots? Yo, she throwing up. She go harder than me. What the fuck? And she's petite, too, and small. What the?
Thank you, Ms. Gilman. And if I could ask you to go to about 10 minutes and 30 seconds in.
Since she drank 4.
And I would ask you to play that for about a minute to about 11:30 or so.
Girl. Damn, it's like they're doing a shot. Boy, turning up. Turn up.
Thank you, Ms. Gilman. So Sergeant, sort of rounder shots during this portion of the video, is that correct?
That's
Yeah, if it's sustained. You can ask it differently.
What, if anything, of significance did you observe the defendant and/or the group that she was with do in this portion of the video?
in this portion of the video, the two gentlemen to the right of the defendant consume a shot-size beverage.
And as far as the shot glass that the defendant received, what, if anything, do you observe her to do with that?
Objection.
I'll allow it. Or strike that. Just what did you observe, not what she had.
What did you observe the defendant to do during that portion?
Prior to the shots being taken, a shot glass was poured into the cylindrical tall glass.
And again, so that would be drink number 7 at that point?
That would be drink number 6.
And I'm sorry, so the previous portion was a cylindrical drink and then a shot glass that was 5. Is that correct?
Objection.
I think that was the testimony, but ask it differently.
As far as that drink during that portion, is that drink number 6 or drink number 7? If you
Objection.
Yeah, in that form, I'll sustain it.
At this point in time in the video, after watching what you watched, how many drinks has the defendant consumed at this point?
At this point, she's consumed or is in possession of
Objection.
I'll allow it.
6 drinks.
And this is at approximately 10:29 p.m., is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Ms. Gilman, if you could go to about 20 minutes and 30 seconds in. Actually, wait for the next 10 seconds.
Damn, bro, we still going?
So during that portion of the video, what, if anything, do you observe as to the drink the defendant has and how full it is at that point?
She has a cylindrical tall cocktail glass in her hand.
And can you observe, or did you observe how full that glass was?
It's, drink number 6 is empty, or near the bottom, almost empty.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could ask you to go to about 22 minutes and 40, I'm sorry, 22:40 or so within.
How many
the
drinks?
time.
7 or 6? Six so far, or 7? 6? She had a drink in her hand too. That I couldn't see. I don't know if I saw it. Yeah, she got the drink in her hand. Okay, she got that glass.
Now, from this portion of the video, Sergeant, what, if anything, do you observe the defendant and Mr. O'Keefe doing in reference to C.F. McCarthy?
Once the defendant got drink number 7, the defendant
Seven.
and Mr. O'Keefe walked
Seven.
out of C.F. McCarthy's, the defendant holding the beverage, tall cylindrical glass in her hand.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Ms. Kelman, you can take that down. I'm sorry.
I feel like she denied carrying that glass out with her
I'm showing
too.
you the 5-page document that you to review that, look up when you finish.
Damn, cold-blooded girl next door.
And do you recognize that document, sir?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize it to be?
I recognize it to be a series of transaction receipts from the tabs at C.F. McCarthy's.
And are these the transaction receipts or tabs that you received, you and Trooper Keefe received from C.F. McCarthy's on February 1st, 2022?
Yes, they are.
And with reference to those receipts or tabs, to whom, if anyone of significance, do those tabs pertain to?
The first one for 5280 was opened under the bar tab Karen A. Reed.
And is there also a receipt from John O'Keefe?
Yes, it is. The transaction through the credit card, being a MasterCard for 5280, was paid by Mr. John J. O'Keefe.
And with reference to the items listed within that particular receipt, what, if any, items of significance do you observe listed on the receipts?
On the Karen A. Reed's receipt, 1 Tito's, $10, 1 Tito's, $10, 1 Coors Light, $5.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
May I approach him?
Yes.
Call him off the stage to introduce and admit as an next exhibit.
Lord, Lord. Oh, Lord.
We probably should approach. Okay. Briefly.
Hell no to the no. We got to watch that Karen Reed interview again. Hell to the no, no. I don't like Tito's either. I think Tito's kind of nasty. Tito's. Long time ago when I was like a newbie. Yeah, oh, this is good. Now it's like, can't drink that shit. Mel, I love Tito's. How could you? Bah. Bah.
He needs some milk.
Yes, Tito's is vodka. Yep. Somebody's asking, yeah. The hell is a Tito? It's vodka. It's a brand
You
of
are
vodka.
unmuted.
No, it's vodka. Tito's is vodka.
And so, Sergeant Mechanic,
That's
on
not
those
tequila.
receipts from C.F. McCarthy's under both Ms. Reed's receipt and Mr. O'Keefe's receipt, there was Tito's vodka listed on the receipt, correct?
Thank
Correct.
you.
Now, also on February 1st, what, if any, other establishments did you go to in the town of King?
Myself and Trooper Keefe went up across the street to the Waterfall Bar and Grill and retrieved transaction receipts and video from there as well.
As far as the video is concerned from that establishment, have you reviewed that video as well?
Yes, I did.
And with regard to the receipts from that establishment, you reviewed those as well. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
So I'm showing you 4 photographs, still shots. You can review those and look up when you're finished.
Butterfly Dana. Wait, Stephen.
And you recognize those, sir?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize those to be?
Those are still shots of surveillance video from the Waterfall Bar and Grill on the night of January 29th after midnight. And Mr. O'Keefe is depicted in the still shot.
And those are both interior as well as exterior camera shots of Mr. O'Keefe's sort of exit from the waterfall. Is that correct?
That's correct. Interior, him leaving at 12:11 a.m., which the timestamp on the surveillance video at the waterfall was accurate to real time. He is holding a beverage, shorter cocktail glass in his right hand as he exits the establishment. He's seen on the exterior camera walking towards Washington Street.
Thank you. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm about to seek to introduce and matters in
No objection.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to have to look for it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your Honor, with the court's permission, if I could ask that these be published for the jury.
Yeah.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could just have the first one. My apologies. Ms. Gilman, if I could have the first one, interior. Thank you. And sorry, did you recognize what's up on the screen, which is now the marked to 464?
I do.
And what do you recognize that to be?
That is the still shots presented to me and entered into the exhibit of Mr. O'Keefe walking out of the Waterfall Bar and Grill at 12:11 a.m. on the night of the early morning hours of January 29th, holding a cocktail glass.
And if I could have the second still.
Ooh, okay. Okay, pimpin'. That's the glass that was found outside of the house.
And again, do you recognize what's up on the screen, sir?
Yes, sir.
And if you could, using the laser pointer before you, just direct the jury's attention to where you observed Mr. O'Keefe and what, if anything, you observed Mr. O'Keefe holding as he was exiting the waterfall.
Mr. O'Keefe is observed here. He's holding that shorter, fatter cocktail glass as he's walking out of the establishment.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could have from the exterior, just the second one, please. And again, Sergeant, do you recognize what's up on the screen, which is now marked as Exhibit 467?
Yes, I do.
And if you could, using the laser pointer, direct the jury's attention to what, if anything, is significant to observe in this step.
This is Mr. O'Keefe walking out of the Waterfall establishment, holding the cocktail glass in his right hand as he walks towards Washington Street.
Thanks. Ms. Gilman, you can take that. Mr. Officer, we can have the lights. Thank you, sir. Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
I gotta use the restroom. Right back.
Sir, I'm showing you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 4. Just ask to look at that. And do you recognize what's contained in Exhibit 54?
I do recognize it, yes.
And are those the receipts that you received from the Waterfall when you went there on February 1st?
Yes, they are.
Thank you. May I approach again, Your Honor?
Yes.
Now, sir, with reference to the Waterfall, in regard to the timestamp on that surveillance video, what, if anything, were you told as far as the accuracy of that timestamp when you retrieved that video?
That video was confirmed to be accurate in time, as in real time. No discrepancy.
And Your Honor, with the court's permission, if I could just publish 3 quick clips from what's been marked as Exhibit 53.
Okay.
Ms. Gilman, if I could ask from Channel 3, the second video down. If I could ask you to go from the timestamp on the top of the screen to 10:54 in 25 seconds. You could play them. I could ask you to pause right there. So, Sergeant, from that particular portion of the video, what, if anything, of significance did you observe further?
That portion of video depicts Mr. John O'Keefe walking in with the defendant gesturing to a group of people at the top of the screen, and then Mr. O'Keefe walking over and giving a hug to an individual that's part of the group.
So from the same Channel 3, Ms. Gilman, if I could have from the 4th video down. If I could ask you to go 11:39 in 40 seconds. Pause there, thank you. And in about 5 to 10 seconds or so, I'm going to ask Ms. Gilman if you could pause it, and I'm just going to ask Sergeant if you could direct your attention to sort of the top right corner of the screen. Thank you, so much. Pause there. From that portion of the video, you observed the defendant in that portion of the video?
Yes, I did.
And what, if anything, did you observe her to be doing?
She retrieves a drink from the table and appears to consume it.
Now, as far as the drink and the tall cylindrical glass that you observed her walking out of C.F. McCarthy's with, what, if anything, do you observe from the glass that she's taking a sip of from this portion of the video of the Waterfall?
It's a shorter, fatter style glass compared to the cylindrical tall style that she walked out of C.F. McCarthy's with.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Gilman, you can take that down. And Mr. Officer, if we could have the lights. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Lally, why don't we end for the day? It's been a long day. Everybody ready to go home? Yeah, okay. All right, so Sergeant, we're going to meet back tomorrow, and I'll ask you to just follow the jurors out when they leave. So jurors, the same reminders, please do not discuss this case with anyone. Don't do any independent research or investigation.
Let's watch this interview with Karen Reed 9 months ago.
Outside this courthouse in Canton, Massachusetts, supporters swarmed around Karen Reed. Police.
I did not kill John O'Keefe. I've never harmed a hair on John O'Keefe's head.
Her defense bare-knuckled and bold, is making national headlines. Her lawyers alleging in court documents that a fellow police officer was involved in O'Keefe's death and colluded with other people in a cover-up.
You're alleging that law enforcement officials in this state committed murder and that they're covering it up. Why would they want to be involved in this?
Because he's dead. I think things went too far. It was late. There was alcohol involved, but they're all family. And there's many of them involved.
After posting bail, Reed has spent much of the past 18 months in and out of court awaiting a trial date.
And me and my family and my attorneys and my team have marshaled every resource to get to the truth. It just feels like no one else wants it.
Prosecutors allege that Reed hit O'Keefe with her car after getting into an argument earlier in the day, leaving him to die in the middle of a snowstorm in January 2022. But Reed says she had no reason to harm her boyfriend.
I would call him the patron saint of Canton. He was just very selfless, frugal, and I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone that didn't care for John.
The couple first dated in their 20s and reconnected more than a decade later in the middle of the pandemic.
So how did you meet up again?
He had reached out to me on Facebook and he said, "Hey, blast from the past, how's things?" And when I saw his picture, his profile picture was with several young children, and then it triggered my memory that his sister and his sister's husband had passed away. And he told me, "Yeah, I have the kids now." I admired that. I thought that was amazing.
Soon, Reed says she became part of the family, often sleeping over at O'Keefe's house and helping take care of the kids.
He would go to work and I would stay with his niece and nephew. All of the breaks that the kids had, we did something.
But their relationship also had its struggles. Reeve says O'Keefe had been relying more on her to take care of the kids and that he criticized some of the decisions she made with them.
We had an argument on New Year's Eve. We were away on vacation and he became incoherently drunk. And I ended up ringing in the new year with his niece and nephew. John didn't come back to our room till after 3 a.m. So that was rough. I felt very much taken advantage of. He apologized profusely for what happened on New Year's Eve. And he said, "If you can't get over it, then you need to spend some time at yours. I can't keep apologizing. I don't want to keep rehashing."
I don't understand this part. If you can't get over it, you need to spend what?
New Year's Eve. And he said, "If you can't get over it, then you need to spend some time at yours. I can't keep apologizing. I don't want to keep rehashing this."
A few weeks later, they were invited to meet up with some friends at the Waterfall bar in Canton. And there, they ran into Brian Albert, a fellow Boston police officer who Reed says O'Keefe looked up to. Albert had led the city's gang unit before commanding the Fugitive Apprehension Team. It was the elite squad responsible for taking down some of the city's most dangerous criminals and featured in the 2013 TNT show Boston's Finest.
1 minute we're walking around, everything's fine, and then 1 minute it's not fine.
Both times I met Brian Albert, he seemed like the type of person that you'd be surprised he's out socially because he doesn't seem like he ever wants to be there.
But at the bar, Reed says there was an invitation to continue hanging out at Albert's home.
I said, "Can we make sure we're welcome here?" Nobody extended the invite to me. I didn't hear the invite extended to you.
They drive to the Alberts' house. What happens next is disputed.
Here. Nobody extended the invite to me. I didn't hear the invite extended to you.
They drive to the Alberts' house. What happens next is disputed.
So I pull at the foot of the driveway. It's snowing. John has no coat on. It's windy. So I drop him off. He goes up the driveway and approaches the side door. And as I see him approach the door, I look down at my phone.
Reed says after about 10 minutes of waiting in her car, she became irritated that O'Keefe still hadn't gotten in touch with her.
Oh, at yours. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you, guys.
She became irritated that O'Keefe still hadn't gotten in touch with her, and she drove back to his home where she continued calling him before, she says, she fell asleep around 1:30 in the morning. She then says she woke up before 5 a.m. He still wasn't home. She then started canvassing the neighborhood.
Gonna drive around in the 2 square miles that we spent the preceding night.
After 20 minutes of unsuccessful searching, she called John's friend, Carrie Roberts, and Jennifer McCabe, Brian Albert's sister-in-law, who was also at his house the night before. The three women together now headed to Albert's home.
How soon was it when you pulled in there that you saw John's body?
Immediately. And what struck me when I saw him was his mouth was open a little bit and his eyes were shut. And
The shit that's weird about this to me,
Albert's home at his house the night before. The three women together now headed to Albert, Carrie Roberts, and
drive around in the
home. In the morning, Keefe still hadn't gotten in touch with her, and she drove back to his home where she continued calling him before.
why? Okay, so I guess the reason maybe she drove back to his home, maybe she thought he went home. We could say
Where she
that.
says she fell asleep around 1:30 in the morning. She then says she woke up before 5 a.m. He still wasn't home. She then started canvassing the neighborhood.
going to drive around in the 2 square miles that we spent the preceding night.
After 20 minutes of unsuccessful searching, she called John's friend, Carrie Roberts,
I mean, why not check where you left him at?
and Jennifer McCabe, Brian Albert's sister-in-law, who was also at his house the night before. The three women together now headed to Albert's home.
How soon was it when you pulled in there that you saw John's body?
Immediately. And what struck me when I saw him was his mouth was open a little bit and his eyes were shut and he had spots of blood in different areas on his face.
O'Keefe was taken to the hospital and pronounced dead. He died from blunt force trauma and hypothermia. And it wasn't long before Reed became the #1 suspect. Authorities say they had noticed a cracked taillight after they seized her car.
I had told both Jen and Carrie that I cracked my taillight. I said, I just hit my car on top of everything, but I didn't look at the damage. And both women said, it's cracked, it's cracked.
It's interesting, too, that this morning at 5-something in the morning, when she wakes up frantically searching for John, and I guess she goes to John's house first, and then she contacted Carrie and Jen, that she's telling him about, hey, just letting you know, my light's cracked. So you know.
But I didn't look at the damage. And both women said, it's cracked, it's cracked. Calm down, you cracked your taillight. You're okay, let's go look for John.
But according to police statements, Jennifer McCabe told authorities that while they were looking for O'Keefe, Reed stated, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? And when O'Keefe's body was discovered, first responders who arrived on the scene say they overheard Reed make other statements.
Firefighter said that you said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
I said, I hit him. It was preceded by a did and proceeded.
That's so weird! I can't get over this clip right here. The fuck?
Firefighter said that you said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
I said, I hit him. It was preceded by a did and proceeded by a question mark. What I thought could have happened was that did I incapacitate him unwittingly, somehow, and then in his drunkenness, passed out?
When you walked out of the
In his drunkenness, like you weren't drinking as well.
bar, how many drinks had you had?
I had had probably about 4.
The Commonwealth says that you had 9 drinks that night. That's what the prosecution says.
I don't believe they're saying I wasn't in my right mind.
They were saying you were intoxicated. Is it possible that you might have hit him unwittingly in your admittedly very large SUV?
No, not possible.
3 days after O'Keefe was found dead, investigators arrested Reed for manslaughter. She was eventually indicted.
I don't know. Anyway, so we'll be back tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow. I'm going to clip that and we're going to post that. Let me set up this. Did I set up tomorrow's stream? I didn't set up tomorrow's stream. We'll do it tomorrow's stream. Tomorrow's day 21. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to be the outcome. I don't know. I'm going to put a blank thumbnail for now. And later on, I'll update the day and stuff. And I'll put a little picture tomorrow. Let me see. There we go. So take your meds. Oh, I was about to put 9 p.m. tomorrow. 9 a.m. So tomorrow's half a day. Cruise, smooth day. Bro, the way she words that shit, I preceded it and preceded and exceeded after. Bro, that's just weird. What kind of answer is that? She didn't even deny it. I preceded it and proceeded it with did. Fuck out of here, yo. Oh, yeah. Well, she had a total of 9 drinks, but yeah. Between both places, 9 drinks. Anyway, I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Unless there's a chase tonight. I used up all my notifications here, I guess. If there's something pops off tonight, I'll go live on the second page. Right now, I'm gonna go chill, organize the living room, and chill tonight. But love you guys. Take care. Peace. Bye. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Oh, I need to do the transfer too. Okay. Oh, I put the wrong. Hold on. I want to put day 20 again. I need the blank thumbnail that I have. Template. Oh, it's too big though. No. That's what she said. All right. Well, I'll fix the date later. All right. I'll fix the date later. All right. Love you guys. Bye. Bloop, 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 bloop.